Hey guys, in this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to make this D.Va headset using EVA foam. So to start, I've drawn up a rough idea of how big I'm going to make the actual headphones on the headset. Using my rough drawing, I then made a rough mock-up of the headphones using some EVA foam, and then cut that out to make my pattern pieces. I'm kind of skipping this part because I'm going to be giving you guys the pattern pieces in a link below. So you're going to take your pattern pieces and you're going to take your 5mm EVA foam and you're going to draw out all your patterns on the foam. You're now going to cut out your pattern pieces using a nice sharp knife or a pair of scissors. When you're cutting out your pieces, make sure that you cut them at a 45 degree. Cutting out your pieces at an angle like this means that when you glue them back together, it's not going to sit flat and it's actually going to start forming a shape. Now that we've made the base of the headphones, we're going to be adding the next layer. I'm going to be doing this with some 1cm thick EVA foam. Once again, we're going to draw out our pattern pieces on the EVA foam, and then using a very sharp knife, we're going to cut at an angle. This is going to give us some nice bevels on the piece. I'm also going to be using the 1cm thick EVA foam to cut out the antenna. I'm now going to be using my rotary tool just to make sure that all the edges on this piece are perfect. After using your rotary tool to sand down some of the edges on the piece, you might notice they are a bit fuzzy. To get rid of this, you can just use your heat gun to smooth it out a bit. Now that all your pieces have been made, you can glue them together using some contact adhesive. To add some final details to these headphones, I'm just going to be using some 1mm EVA foam and cutting my details out and gluing them on with the contact adhesive. Now it's time to make the headband. To make the pattern for my headband, I'm just going to be taking a mannequin head and covering it with some tape. I'm then going to use a Sharpie and draw on the shape of my headband. Once you're happy with the shape, you can now peel off the tape and cut out your pieces. To make my headband, I'm going to be using 1cm EVA foam. You're going to be using a sharp knife to cut out your foam pieces, and where the pieces meet, you want to cut them at a slight angle. Now that your pieces are cut out, you're just going to glue them together using some contact adhesive. And finally, you're going to add some details using some 1mm EVA foam. Now that all the pieces of the headset have been made, we're going to prime everything with some wood glue. I normally use about 6 layers and let each layer dry in between applications. Once we're finished priming, we can now start on the paint. For the base of D.Va's headphones, I'm using some metallic black acrylic paint and applying it in thin layers. Once that base coat is dry, I'm then going to mask everything off and use some pink Rust-Oleum spray paint to paint my antenna. I'm then going to paint the second layer on D.Va's headphones with some silver acrylic paint. And finally, I'm using some more acrylic paint to paint in the green and yellow details on the headphones. If you want to go the extra mile, you can also do a little bit of shading with some black oil paint. You can now glue your headphones onto your headband using some contact adhesive and then glue that onto an Alice band so it stays on your head. And that's how I made my D.Va headset.